Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Alana James. Today's 15-minute research boost is talking about the typical places I have seen graduate students break down in the research process, and then giving you tons of links you can follow if any of them are the problems you're facing now or in the future. So I recommend that everybody here or who is, watching the recording get the handout, because the handout are these slides, and all of these links will be live for you. And I'm just trying to get the work. Okay, here we go. So our agenda for today is I'm going to talk about the common breakdowns during research design, during lit review, during data collection and analysis, and then at the end, as you're building your discussion and argument. And these are equally true whether you're a master's student or a doctoral student, and whether you're a pre-proposal or you have your data. And because a lot of the links I am giving you are video links, I highly recommend, if you aren't good and it isn't easy for you to take notes or from a video, that you watch that link, that you go there first, because I worked out a system for myself when I was going to virtual conferences, watching all the links that had gone by, and I watched 6 hours of video in something like an hour and a half and took notes the whole time. So there are a lot of videos here that you might want to look at, and that would be a way to efficiently do that. So how do people break down during research design? Just to say that all of these start with a module, and for many of them, there were so many choices on the pd.education site that your university gives you, so many choices. But I tried to choose some highlights. This one, there were so many choices for research design that I just want to start with the module on research design. So if you sign into the PD Education site and you go to self-directed learning modules, there is a module on research design. It has a lot of things in it you might want to look at, but here are some others. I think the main confusions, the main breakdowns during research design boil down to people get confused about the parts that make up the design, and they don't know how all those parts go together, and they don't know how to use their design, set up a design so that it's clear to the reader how it adds to the literature that they found. So there's some interlocked aspects to everything I'm going to talk about. So what have we got? We've got a couple of articles that you can pick up real quickly using action research for research design, demystifying action research as a design you might want to consider if you're trying to get something done. Looking at how topic and methods need to bridge together. And how that goes to research problem statements as well. And then looking into the methodology series. There's a whole series about methodology, and I picked out a couple of options that I thought you would be interested in. And then a couple of 15-minute research boosts. So short, but the thoughts behind research, how they go together, and what critical analysis, how you can critically analyze other people's research design in order to better understand your own. When we're talking about how to design your research so it adds to the literature, then there's 3 options I thought were interesting. 13 ways to ensure trustworthiness if you're doing qualitative research design. So trustworthiness is a key element of being able to add to the literature. What to do in research, how to do it right, and how to avoid some challenges that we see frequently. And another one on demystifying action research. So same kind of thing for literature review, there's a module, easy for you to go there, click it on, and then start to go through the parts that look interesting to you. But you might be asking yourself, do I have enough? What is enough? And so I chose 3 pieces, the parameters of the literature review, what a fallacy is, and so you would know or not know, you're building an argument. You might have not enough you might be basing your literature review argument on a fallacy. There's some interesting interplay there, and all about the lit, a good overview piece. Then within the literature, people break down when they come to theoretical foundations and conceptual framework. So I talk about conceptual frames as a Venn diagram and how you put that together, how you look at what your literature is, and then you build a Venn diagram out of it, and that becomes your conceptual frame. And I talk about that in a 15 minutes. And also, again, there's a handout that might be interesting for you on that. And then theoretical foundations are like the underlying platform we build our research on. And there's a 15-minute practical tip about understanding the thought behind research that will lead you into theory, and then a webinar on theoretical basis. So breakdowns in data collection and analysis. Frequently, it amounts to, I'm doing my data collection and I'm running into way more trouble than I thought I would. How do I get out of that? How do I move past that? How do I have a plan B when plan A for data collection didn't work out? And then also how to move forward with analysis, because you might have results, but how do you get to analyze them? So again, there's a results module that will help with some of these questions. And then all the kinds of problems that come up during data collection. Again, getting to this idea of how there's an argument and you're building results and you're basing some ideas on a fallacy. Very good to look into. If you're not exactly comfortable with what that means, that's a very excellent one that Professor Maria did. And again, a snippet on social science research, interview design, things that we have seen people not do well. Their data collection didn't go well because they didn't have the pieces in place well, and then results and findings break down. And then once you have your data, and so you have some basis for results, what makes it analysis is covered in a number of videos. A lot of them are videos where I am doing some comparison across finished pieces, because I believe that when you are involved in your research at the very end, what matters most is that you have thought about it from all these different angles. And one way to know what angles you might want to think about it from is to look critically at other people's work and see how they drew things, how they looked at it. And then you can say, oh yeah, that might work for me. I'll do that. Just to check that it looks, there was a comment about sound not working. It's going across properly as far as the host control panel goes. So probably a problem at the local level. All right, breakdowns during writing the final discussion and thesis argument tend to be about the parts that make up the full design. No, so I'm looking at a slide that I think didn't work out properly. Bear with me. I'm afraid. So the top link is correct. There is a discussion module for final discussions and thesis arguments. And then I'm following my logic now. A problem that I see during discussion is that the person hasn't understood how all the previous parts of the design went together and how they have to be all wrapped up in the discussion. For instance, in the discussion, you are taking your results and you're coming up with your final analysis and what you want to see, and you're back playing to the literature that you've talked about. So it all rolls together in one final thesis argument. So the parts that make up the full design, you have to be really cognizant of. And I've given you something on critically analyzing arguments, on putting, and there's 2 links actually. I did the same link twice. And then there's classical or Aristotelian arguments, and arguments about why things are so, what argumentation is and why it's so important. So in your discussion section, if you are not absolutely clear that you are able to make a claim, you have the evidence to back it up, and you are building a story about why this is important, that's the time to really understand argumentation and how it goes throughout the rest of your document. And then finally, the how to use your discussion to add up to the lit in the field. Once again, I'm very fond of this fallacies piece, but if we don't know when we're going to break down, we don't do a good job of getting past it. So you will see the fallacies link a couple of times in these slides. The graduation, hitting the mark, finishing your dissertation on time with rigor. I'm sure that's something you all want to do. And then a few pieces about how to do the end game, the final defense, all the pieces that go together when you're finishing. So this was meant to be just literally a quick 15 minutes, not even that would give you a lot of links. You can download this, you can take it, and as you're facing these things, it can get you started. But you'll see that most of them do start with a module, a self-directed learning module. And I learned a few things about the site as I was finding these pieces. If you are trying to search on something that is a big topic, research design, lit review, argumentation, each of those has its own little icon, and then you can just click on the webinars, the discussions, the articles under that. That's the fastest way to go, rather than using the search. The search has so many things to go through. Sometimes it's annoyingly slow. And so what I found to be the fastest thing to do is to use the search for the smaller topics, theoretical design, conceptual design, things like that. Use the bigger ones, use the icons. That's just what worked for me. So as you all get started, I have already got 2 questions for today on the wooclap.com/15 minutes. If you're here just to get this links, thank you for coming. Pick up the handouts. We're happy to have you. But the next 45 minutes will be your chance to ask any question you want to ask about anything in graduate school. I'll do the best I can to get you pointed in a good direction, or to give you my 2 cents about things that might help. And as you're beginning to write your questions in wooclap.com/15 minutes, I just want to say that, give you a heads up that research boot camps are coming. Okay, so if it's appropriate for you this summer, there are a couple of opportunities that will take some time investment from you, but are designed to significantly move research forward. Boot camps are divided into either you are pre-proposal, meaning you're in your research design, putting it together and writing phase, or you have your data or are just about to collect your data. You're finished with ethical review and your proposal, and you are looking forward to how do you finish at the end. Or you have your data and you're looking to finish quickly. those are both very appropriate. So for pre-proposal, it's a 10-week session. For post-data, it'll be an 8-week session. Both of them have a week off the week after July 4th, so that you can take a break if you need to, catch up if you've fallen behind, and that the whole summer doesn't go away with such an intense body of work. You have a little bit of ease in the middle. They start June 1st for pre-proposal, the following Monday, June 7th for post-data. You will, if you're interested, you write to Siobhan at PD Education. It's on this slide. You give her your name, your university email, and whether you're interested in one or both of the boot camps, which one, and or both. And then on May 15th, you'll receive a packet which will have 3 tasks for you that you must complete before you will actually be enrolled. So registration and then enrollment. The enrollment process requires that you do a survey which allows you to pre-select your group within that overall boot camp. You might be just starting, you might be doing fine, on target with everything, but you're looking to use boot camp to have outside accountability and to help your work move forward. Or you might be stalled and you're looking for boot camp to help you get motivated, unstall, get back going on the process. So you'll be in a group of people in forums and in reflective journaling that will allow you to have people that are in a similar state. So we think that will help you build community and give even a greater level of support. This summer, every week has a goal, an outcome, and a reflective practice that's due at the end of it. And then there's a synchronous meeting. There's 2 synchronous meetings, actually. One for anyone who can make it as a lecture. Another one, anyone who can make it is an open office hours where you can ask questions. And then there are also predetermined links per the group that you self-signed of that you might find interesting. So you have 10 weeks or 8 weeks of calendar set up that are things that we think are very appropriate for a person in that group doing that work that week. So it's directed, but yet you can use it in any way you want to use it. And we very much appreciate that you'll be tracking what you're doing and how it's going, which will keep you on track and will also give us feedback to adjust it as we go along. So that's what's happening this year for boot camp. Again, if it's interesting to you, you can start to write Siobhan at PD Education, and I would put as a subject line, interested in pre-proposal or post-data or both boot camps. So she knows which group to put you in when we start to roll out the rest.